I'm Donni Ray, and this is the PRIV Talks podcast. Join me and my team as we pull back the curtain on work, life, family, friendship, leadership, entrepreneurship, and everything in between. We hope these conversations will inspire you, make you feel connected, and bring you a laugh. Welcome back. It's Donni here, founder and creative director of Privilege. Hi, guys.
Hello, it's Leah, operations manager.
And Katelyn, the PR manager.
We're still in LA.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Should we intro our guest?
I'm excited to have
So
our guest
excited.
here. Our conversation already has been so good. I just can't imagine what topics
We've
we're
had to
gonna
tell her
cover.
to shut up like 5 times. Like, save it for the podcast.
Well, and I keep going. I'm thinking to myself, I don't know how I'm going to rein our conversations in and create like an order to this. It's going to be fun. So, she took the romper trend to the masses and is continuing to redefine loungewear with fresh designs and colors. If you aren't currently wearing one of her rompers or planning on putting one on the second you get home from work, then what are you even doing with your life? Welcome, Ashley Freeborn, founder of Smash and Tess.
Hi, you guys.
And that's like a real welcome back because you've been on the podcast before. So this is like a 2.0.
It's so good.
It's true.
And that's why I wrote the intro a little more casual, because people know who you are.
Oh, that's nice. Good to be back.
Yeah, I think our listeners definitely know who you are. We work so closely with your company.
Yeah.
We carry the rompers. We do events together.
We wear them.
We're both like local companies. Well, somewhat local. You're like have like this beautiful, not bi-coastal. I guess bi-coastal is 2 different coasts, but you
Yeah,
live like in LA and Vancouver. So
Yeah.
you're back and forth. So when we're down here for work, I get to see you. And then
Yeah.
when we're at home, I get to
That's
see
so
you
neat. You guys
sometimes.
get to connect in both places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Living the dream.
More in
Yeah.
LA than Vancouver, to be perfectly honest.
It's true.
It's probably easier for
Yeah.
you, Donni, without the
Yeah.
kids. Okay, Donni, kick us off with your boss or bust.
Okay, my boss is that Elliot is like practically potty trained.
And didn't she train herself?
She's my 3rd baby. I wasn't in a hurry to potty train her. Like, I'm not really like itching to not have a baby anymore that is going to be a toddler. I'm kind of like, you know, when your baby takes her first steps and you like push them over. Like, I
Don't
I just
do
wanna
it.
keep her little forever. And she is so determined to be potty trained that she just literally took her diapers off and started going on the potty. And I was like, what is happening? Like, my little girl is growing. She wears like panties.
And
And
she's so
her bum hangs out of one side, and it's so cute. And I'm just so proud of her. And my mom always said, she's like, potty training girls are so much easier than boys. And my boys were for sure like still here and there wearing diapers by 3. Like, it was not. And Elliot's not even 2.
I was going to say,
until
it's
August.
early though, no? Like,
Yeah, it's early.
Yeah.
I mean, she could digress still. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like, kids do that where they do it and then they digress a little bit. But she's just doing so well. Like, we've had days we leave the house with no diaper.
That's some
And
bullshit right there, Donni.
She's like, so that's what shit?
I said that's bullshit.
No. I mean, I have diapers in my purse, but they're not on her body.
Yeah, no, I just mean more bullshit as in like, I can't believe that's happening to you where your daughter just
Yeah.
potty trains herself.
So
Like,
lucky.
how does this happen to you?
She's just.
It would
she's
happen to
a
you.
natural female. Stop it.
That would happen to Donni.
Okay, you're only being such a hater because you have a baby the same age. And so you're doing potty training also?
Yeah, so that's my big bust is that like I'm just started this week. I decided she did not, I will go on the record, start potty training herself. She most definitely
She was like, Mom, I feel like shitting my pants
forever and ever. No, and so we've been trying. And Frankie, she's super smart. Like, she's bilingual. She speaks Spanish and English. So we're like, oh fuck, we could do this early. Like, she doesn't turn till August. Like, serious, I want to die. Like, all I hear is like, it sounds like we're torturing our child. She just screams all day long. She will like say pee pee and then like stand pee right beside the potty. And like, I don't understand. So this is why this is funny. So we sit down and you're telling me, oh, Elliot's just potty training herself. And meanwhile, it's like a war zone at my house. Pee and shit everywhere. It's just, yeah.
I'm
It's traumatizing.
so sorry. I have lived through that though. I have experienced that with my kids. And literally the last podcast you listened to, I'm talking about how my kid shit my bed. So I have got my hands dirty. I know what that feels like. I totally feel your pain. And I feel like also part of being mom is literally just like talking about piss and shit all the time.
Yeah.
So like,
And cleaning
forgive
it
me
up.
for everyone who's like thinking this is absolutely revolting right now. But like I was so proud. She was like,
It's amazing.
Mom, poo poo. And I put her on the potty and she went.
Does Elliot though, here's the thing, Frankie runs into a dark, quiet place to go poo. Like, does Elliot do that?
Ready.
Oh, that's why I knew she was ready. But like, that's part of the reason. Like, I feel like, cause I know I'm putting her on the toilet, she's like not into it. Cause she's like, I want to be by myself. Like, I don't want, so I've tried to hide it in dark places and like see if she'll go around the corner.
So like, if you're not around, will she be more inclined to go in the potty?
I think so, maybe.
Yeah,
but like,
I
I'm
think
not
so.
sure she yet makes the connection between that's where, like, she likes to hang out there and like read a book and like she's like her father that way. Like if I gave her a cell phone, she'd probably like be on Instagram checking it for 2 hours. Oh my goodness. So she'll hang out and like eat raisins and like
Just chilling.
like read a book. But in terms of actually like getting
no
the deed
action.
done, there's no action.
I feel like 100% of the moms that are listening right now are relating to either one of you.
Is that a good mental image?
I know,
Like,
it's so funny.
her underwear around her ankles, just checking Instagram.
It's so cute. It is such a cute mental image. Like, oh, it's like a time that goes way too fast. And I seriously don't know how. I'm like doing it for the third time.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And like, I might have no kids in diapers for the next.
It's going to happen.
Until you get knocked up again.
Stop it. I'm pretty sure Em's like done now.
Well, we'll see.
Okay, let's keep going with our boss or bust. Kate, are we taking a
You
collective
guys don't
one?
want to talk about shit anymore?
Like what?
Well, I just feel like,
over?
you know, a 4-minute conversation, we'll cut it there.
Hopefully we can revisit it later in the podcast.
I hope so. Are we taking a collective one?
Yeah, a collective boss.
Okay, so last night, Kate and I, we weren't even out late last night, like till 12:30 or 1. But we got back to our room and we were both like pretty hungry because we ate dinner we actually ate early, like 8 or something. So we were looking through the room menu and there wasn't much that was available. But Kate's like, I'm calling because for sure they've got to be able to do a veggie burger for
And
us.
you guys ordered like, what did you order yesterday? And I had the veggie burger here.
Yeah, you had the veggie burger at lunch and we both
It was
got avocado
unreal.
toast.
Like it was amazing.
And their fries were so good. You
So
shared
good.
your fries with us. So we were like, man, we would kill for a veggie burger right now.
And they did it.
They did it for
That's
us
so
and brought us though, like at lunch, Donni, you got like a little plate of fries. Ours was like a trough. Like we had so many fries.
We ate all of them.
Ate them all.
Can we shout out the London?
good.
This has been an amazing hotel
London's
experience.
been so
This
good.
has been so lovely to podcast at.
Yeah.
It's making
I
all
actually
our
might
dreams
move in here and
The
not go
hotel
home
is
by the end of the
beautiful.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had
good.
asleep in a bed by myself last night, quiet room.
Wow.
Just me and a jar of Glossette raisins was a blissful night. I'm just
So good.
I
They
just
don't have
needed that.
Glossette raisins here.
Yeah, they do. Well,
They
were,
do?
They were chocolate covered raisins.
Oh.
I don't know
Yeah,
if they were
that's the same
Glossettes because
thing.
they were in like a cute little jar that they had
I
disguised.
don't know that they were Glossette raisins because there's
what
certain
other
things you
brand would
can't
they
get in
be?
the US. Like I can't get a coffee crisp. I can't get, no. I know.
Crazy.
It's
Coffee
blasphemous.
crisps are
No
like the best
ketchup
chocolate
chips,
bars.
right?
There's no ketchup chips. I used to smuggle them in and bring them to like all my friends at
Yeah,
work.
ketchup chips are the best.
Yeah. They started doing all dress chips and they have a
Oh,
big Canadian
finally.
flag on them. It's hilarious.
I know because there was no all dress. That's
Yeah.
so
That
sad.
is not what we're known for in Canada, though. Like that is, they're
No.
getting it wrong. Like it is ketchup chips all the way, but they would do it different. For
Did I
sure.
tell you I tried to order wine gums on Amazon and they were $35 for a Maynard's pack? Like what in the blue?
You are my spirit animal because I ordered a bunch of candy off Amazon too.
Oh, but that
And the
was
girls in the
shady when
office
it
were-
arrived.
They were shady.
Oh,
yeah.
was it weird?
They're like the girls were shaking the box.
it
Like, what
contraband?
is in here? It was like it sounded like it was a big rock,
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like hard.
and it was Coke
and
bottle
half
candy.
full.
And was
Okay.
it was hard? The cook
They were
bottle?
just like,
They're like rock.
I don't know. Lately, my Amazon's been taking forever.
Yeah,
to
it's
get
not good in
delivered.
Canada though. That's
It's not
why.
good.
No,
But
I've
I
tried.
was on like a pantry.
Oh yeah,
Reinvigorating my pantry, trying to make it like Khloe Kardashian's, and so I don't usually have candy in my house, but like I decided to get it so I could have like cute candy jars
just for the photos.
totally just for the photos. And then they got eaten, so now they're gone.
No,
So
even if they were hard as a rock, you ate them anyway.
kids don't judge. They're
That's
like,
true.
That's candy. Okay, what's your current obsession?
Okay,
let's keep it moving.
Okay, we came to Newport last week and we did a photo shoot, and we had a last minute location fall through that we had organized, Kate and I. And so we were like on 24 hours notice trying to scramble for a location for our photo shoot, which was a big deal. We like this shoot needed to be top notch. And so we reached out to our friend Jules to be like, "Hey, do you know of any good locations down in Laguna or Newport. And she's like, well, why don't you go on Peerspace? And I was like, what? So it opened my mind to what this Peerspace website is, which is amazing. And Ash didn't even know about it. But you can basically rent a venue, a house by the hour.
Do they have this in Canada?
No, because I checked, because I was like, oh my gosh, I should put my house on here.
Yeah.
Or like,
Peerspace needs to come to Canada. I think the part that's so brilliant about it is how many people are doing photo shoots and always looking for a location.
Oh, it's brilliant. And then they have to rent like Airbnb for like a whole night or 2 nights
You
just
guys,
to make it work.
next business idea.
Yes, seriously.
I'm telling you, there's like a million things in LA that you could just bring to Canada, and it would be like TaskRabbit is the best thing that ever happened.
TaskRabbit?
So like you need a TV hung on your wall, or like you need someone to whatever, like, and you don't want to bug your husband 50 million times, and like you
don't have a mark.
No, you just go on. But if you don't have a mark, you go on TaskRabbit and they just show up at your house like an hour later. That, like Glam App, like all of these things that are like, or what's the other, like PRIV is amazing because you can do yoga in your own house. They'll come.
Who stole my name? What?
I know. You didn't hear about PRIV? PRIV is like the biggest app in the US. They do massage, makeup, hair, yoga instruction. They will just come to your house and do like anything that's like self-care or wellness.
My mind is mildly blown right now.
I know.
It's crazy. It's so good.
It's a culture of convenience here. You
That's
know?
right. It's changing so much.
Well, and you don't want to drive for 2 hours to go do any of those things.
Exactly.
What it's done is open up a whole new world of jobs too.
Yes.
Like these are all jobs.
Yeah.
So it's just changing.
And self-employment, which is so nice, right?
Yeah,
So
it's
you can
like
run
what
your
I
own
was
business.
talking about on the last podcast about a shift in our like employment landscape where it's moving more to
Consultancy.
self-contracted,
Yes.
things like that, subcontracting.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. It's like, I don't want to digress, but
It just works because it's more power to the people.
well, and then as an employer, like you don't have all the overhead either. So it's like a win-win. If you're employed, you can write off what, everything's, they're legitimate expenses. You have your own calendar. You can have multiple clients. Like you don't get bored because you're not going to the same place every day doing the same thing. Like it's amazing.
We need Peerspace in Vancouver.
Well,
So
let's
they're
get that going.
they're in 18 cities. So I imagine they wait till the demand is enough and then they come.
Probably.
But
We
maybe
should do a Canadian
maybe
version.
we should just
Let's do
start
it.
Today.
Let's
Lear
start just
Space.
renting your house out.
Yeah.
And then that's where it starts.
Maybe.
Okay.
Well, if anyone's looking for a photo shoot venue in the Fort Langley area, let me
Look
know.
us up. Okay, Ashley, what's your current obsession?
My current obsession this week, I've said it earlier and it's really weird and creepy, but HBO has this new miniseries on called Chernobyl. And like it was my husband and I were dying laughing because like our romantic time is the end of the day, baby's down, like we cuddle up, we have like some wine or popcorn, and then we watch Chernobyl. And it's like literally
so
bodies
depressing.
melting from radiation. And like we were episode 3 and we're like, fuck. Like it was the most disgusting, traumatized. One of those shows where like you're watching half under the blanket, like you can't actually that's what it was, except it was true. Like it's a real
It's a
story.
true story, so it's like that much creepier.
It's so creepy.
Okay.
Isn't there something though about like being aware? Like I love watching war movies. I don't love the war, but I just love being aware of what was actually happening.
It's just real.
It's super real. And critics
Makes
have
you
said
really grateful for our life.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I don't want to live anywhere near a nuclear reactor, like ever.
Okay. Never.
No.
So anyway, if you haven't watched the HBO mini, like you got to get on it.
Chernobyl.
Okay, but I can't keep up to all these things you're telling me
my
to watch
God.
because I still
I knew
haven't
you were
in
gonna say
Canada
this.
not able to watch the Neverland Ranch documentary.
I was going to say to you, Donni,
I
is
can't
Michael
find that.
Jackson off limits for our podcast?
Oh no, he's on limits. The world needs to know about him.
Why, Canada, are you censoring Finding Neverland? Why?
So, Ashley, we did that event together in Calgary and we were traveling and she starts talking to me about this documentary, Leaving Neverland.
Yeah.
I think I've talked about it on the podcast, maybe. Anyways, I am like absolutely appalled and like my mind, she's blowing my mind literally on a WestJet flight for the entire flight. And I go home, I'm like, Ev, we need to watch this documentary. This is the most important thing we need to do today. And I downloaded like all these different TV watching apps. I signed up to HBO. I can't get it.
Yeah,
in
but to
Canada.
the point where I was literally filming it off of my TV and sending you clips via text message.
She would text me clips of the show.
Yeah, I would, because it was these are the, so if you haven't seen it, it's about the survivors of, Michael Jackson alleged,
Victims.
pedophilia. Yeah. So anyway, it's pretty hardcore, and it was really eye-opening and really sad and hard to watch. But I was telling Donni about it, and this is why I know Donni is my spirit animal, because she let me basically tell her about it for a whole 2-hour flight. I
was like, tell me.
I gave her the
exactly
summary.
like a very detailed summary.
Very detailed summary.
And then if you call me and I don't answer, she just sends me a picture of Michael Jackson, and it's like the creepiest face that he's basically it's like, I'm watching you. And I'm like, oh,
I just want you to know.
Chills.
And just
Okay. Well, Kate, I don't know how you can top that for an
I don't
obsession,
know.
but try and top Chernobyl.
sounds happy.
Sounds like a happy show. Well, I have been really into watching The Real Housewives because I watch mindless TV that I
yeah.
just turn on
good
and pay
too.
no attention to.
Yeah.
yeah.
So Housewives of Potomac has been my
Oh,
favorite
that
lately.
one, that's
I've
my
never-
least favorite.
See, I just started watching it,
Yeah.
partway
Where
through
is
the season.
Potomac?
It's like Washington, D.C.
Yeah, it's outside
Oh.
there. Apparently, that's where the wealthiest people in the U.S. live. I've never heard of it. I did some Googling after I came across that one, but I've been
secret.
watching that one.
Yeah.
That sounds really
yeah.
interesting to me, actually.
But
Yeah, it's like a whole new world.
it's good. I mean, I watch all of them. I
Yeah.
also love mindless television, but it's kind of like my least favorite.
It's
but
not my favorite in the Housewife franchise,
Yes.
but I've recently discovered it.
Oh, so it's like a
I
new
like this
to
one
you.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
fair.
and then also you can binge it.
oh, I
Yeah.
love a good binge. Yeah.
That's what
We
I'm
all
saying.
love a good
I
binge.
honestly
right?
think that I am emotionally in a relationship with the Real Housewives of Orange County.
I know.
True blue,
Beverly
just
Hills
like
for me.
Vicky.
Yeah.
And
you
that-
love Vicky?
I don't really need. It's just like that. Though they're like the OGs. I just think that
That's true.
Vicky and Tamra.
I
Yeah.
don't know if I have room in my heart for any others.
So the Beverly Hills is like the
I
best
do
one.
think Beverly Hills is
Except
pretty
Lisa
good, too.
Vanderpump left, and now I'm devastated.
She's
I
gone.
know.
yeah, because they kind of bullied her off.
They
of-
did bully her
They
off
were.
a little
I'm
bit.
like a huge LVP fan, and
I love LP.
right. I know.
Okay, well, I had a different current obsession, but going on with our show theme. Have you guys watched Good Girls?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think I have.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
You should watch it. You guys would
It's
both love
about
it.
3 moms who
Yes.
become drug dealers
No.
through circumstances
Yeah.
of their life, and it's ridiculous, and they're total train wrecks.
That's
'Cause they
so
throughout-
funny.
There's
Is it a
one-
comedy?
It's like a dark comedy.
Yeah.
I
Like
dark
it's
comedies.
like weird humor, which I really appreciate. I don't know. Would you say it's like a little more British humor? Maybe it's kind of that dry where it's like
Yeah.
funny because it's so absurd, and you're like watching this house mom of 4, like a soccer mom, like stay-at-home mom, be a drug dealer.
so
and like
funny. We should
launder
do that.
money.
We should
and-
do it. I know.
Okay, so we're gonna.
I mean,
do
we don't want like
Space,
the
and we're gonna be drug
establishment
dealers.
hearing us on the air right now, but we'll talk after.
Okay, Donni, who's your boss babe crush?
Okay, I related to something I saw on Instagram. I follow Kate Horseman. We all know who Kate is. And I kind of connected to the statement, and the quote was, "We will remain the same until the pain of remaining the same becomes greater than the pain of change." And I feel like this year for me has been a bit of a season of just reflection and change, and being really honest with what is working, what isn't working. We've had some internal shifts, and so I really related to that, and I think that's so true, that nothing really pushes change until you're pushed to the limits, where one day you just kind of
It's almost like you hit a little bit of a desperate phase.
yeah,
where you're
and
like,
something
ah,
clicks.
I'm gonna snap. Okay, I'm changing.
But that's a pivot point, right?
It is, yeah.
Which is such a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting when you look at the simplicity of that. But Kate posts
Totally.
a lot of meaningful content. Her Instagram is Kate Horseman Nutrition. She focuses a lot on mental well-being, nutrition, things
Yeah.
like that. She's definitely worth a
She's-
follow.
yeah,
and
she's neat. I like what
think
she
it's
does.
intentional.
Yeah.
So that's mine.
Ashley, who's yours?
Well, I'm gonna have to go with the safe response because it's my husband's birthday today. So I have a crush on you, Mike.
by default.
Yeah, sorry.
He's like,
I mean,
love you too, babe.
I love you. Yeah, that would be my boy crush as my husband. Also because my business has been so crazy and getting, we're such a growth company, and without him, I'm I need that sort of steady patient, calm, part of my life. And that's who he is to me.
He's a really good man. Like
Yeah.
he's just like, if you've ever met him, like the three of you, he's just like doting and holding Frankie the entire time. You can just see he is such a good dad.
Yeah.
And like you can tell he's just like such a support for you.
He is, because I'm psychotic. So I'm just like, I'm always like I go from 0 to hero in like 2 seconds. Like I see one thing, I'm like, "Wah!" Like I get so upset, and he's like, it's okay, like calm down, babe.
He's like even keeled.
So
he like brings
even.
you back down to earth.
Except once a month he gets like severe PMS, and he just gets like really kind of aggro for like one day, like cranky, super cranky.
He lets it all out in one day.
One day, and then he's back to normal. Like
Good for him.
Yeah.
What's his trigger? Like what triggers this?
I don't know, but it's definitely like once a month, and like he's definitely like he just gets this weird mood shift, and he
wouldn't
just
have anything to do with like a mood shift that we go through once a month, right?
like I don't know, maybe maybe he's responding to me.
It's very finger pointing.
What day is this on?
But yeah,
Let's
I mean,
see.
for the most part, he's the most like
It's not me, it's
yeah.
you.
Yeah, and I think behind every great woman, there's a great man or
yeah.
woman. So yeah,
But they almost like men have so many things about them that are so fucking frustrating.
oh yeah,
But they also like I feel like require less of like the hero card. Like I feel like as women, like I need to be acknowledged.
yes,
So it's like if I do something great, I'm like, please tell me I'm doing a great job.
Right.
Please doing this. But like Ev, for me, he doesn't require that.
but that's like your love language, right?
I guess
Like,
so.
You need to be told, like
Yeah.
verbally affirmed. Yeah,
Yeah. Different
Yeah.
love languages
Yeah.
for sure.
Kate, boss babe crush.
I have two, and it's Katie and Megan, because
Yeah.
they just spent the last 2 weeks setting up our new Katelyn
Stop
store.
it! I was gonna give them a shout out also. Okay, well we're collectively taking.
Okay, we'll
these
share that
today.
one.
Yes.
Katie literally drives a truck around.
She
Like
has
a
been
like a
Like
truck.
a truck.
Like a
She's
one
truck
time
driver.
truck.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and Megan drove those movers to and from the SkyTrain. They just both worked like 14-hour days setting up this store.
constantly
Didn't complain about it.
There was a
Looks
lot of
amazing.
like bumps in the road as well that were like things out of hours that needed to be dealt with, and there was never a question of who would do it. She's like, well, obviously I'll do it. Like
Yeah.
it was just never like it. The not even having to ask somebody is an invaluable,
yes,
Yeah.
an invaluable quality. So like for me, there was like a Sunday task, and my life is crazy on the weekends. Like I've hockey, soccer,
yeah,
potty training, I got shit
or
to
lack
do.
there's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking life is
Watching
easy
your
breezy
daughter.
for me.
Watching your daughter.
Potty train herself.
But she was like, she just like, without even me even asking, like met this person, got a key, went to Yaleton, met the movers, she just did everything.
Yeah.
It was so nice. It was so nice.
I wanted to also shout them out because Donni, you were away at a photo shoot and I was away at a leadership conference, which is like everything just fell in the same week. But I think it's also such a boss for our team that neither of us had to be there.
I feel
Like the team just knows what they're doing and they just figure things out.
I feel like
They solve
it's
problems.
caused by like hard boundaries and a lot of like learning that we've done over the last 6 months.
Yeah.
But it's the first time I feel like my whole entire team is truly empowered.
Totally.
So it's not
Like they didn't need us to problem solve for them.
No.
They were like, oh, we can make this decision and make the best decision that we know
Everyone
is right for the company.
is taking ownership over their job.
Yeah.
And it's so nice to
I
see.
thought it was so cool. Like it was so good. Yeah. Okay. Round us out here, Donni, with one thing you're working on improving.
Okay, this is so unlike me because I am just a natural baller with everything.
So true.
But I feel like I don't know if it's my age and I'm just like a mom and looking around and I see like the cost of living going up and I'm like, what is happening in our world? Like we need to like, do we need to like start saving money in like a bunker somewhere, prepare for the apocalypse?
I
like,
think you should be saving cash.
like seriously,
No,
I
I'm
feel
kidding.
like concerned over like the general cost of living in life and like how maybe unsustainable I see it being. And I'm going to reference something very simple that I experienced this week when I went grocery shopping, which I usually don't go grocery shopping. I just do it online, but I went and I got to the till and I had 2 small bunches of asparagus and they rang through at $27. I'm sorry. Like, am I the only one that's absolutely floored by the cost of that
No,
asparagus?
if I had to pay $6 for a bunch of asparagus, I would be like,
I was kind of like,
I
okay.
don't even
super-
like asparagus, so I'm definitely not paying $20.
Well,
And that's the thing. I was probably going to throw it in the garbage anyways.
Right.
So, like, realistically, I was only
It's
buying
true.
it to make myself feel good. So, about being like a good mother, and like, my kids were not
Right.
going to eat it.
No.
But I did not buy it. I was like, no, I cannot stand behind this. And I talked on the podcast a couple weeks ago. I went to, so I feel like I'm getting neurotic about it.
Yep.
I took my kids to this dinosaur exhibit.
oh, right.
And I went to buy Elliot a balloon. Okay. Tell me how much you think that balloon cost.
$4.50.
$37.
Shut your mouth.
Seriously.
It had LED
Did it
lights
have
in
fucking
it.
gold in it?
Like, I'm like, it wasn't like have silver flakes all over. No, it didn't. It was a balloon made of plastic
obscene.
with latex. With LED lights.
and then she bought it.
I didn't buy it. Fucking
You
put my foot
didn't?
down. I put my foot down. I was like, no, this is crazy. Give me Gucci, fine, I will. But like, I am not doing
That
that.
makes sense because we can all argue that that kind of designer stuff holds its value. A balloon
Yeah.
is garbage. You're literally paying $37 for garbage.
It's just kind of I looked around and I was like, am I spending this everywhere? Like, what is happening? Minimum wage just went up. So,
Yeah.
that puts my payroll up like 10% or more.
So then, yeah.
So
prices.
anyways, I could go
That's a
into a
different
massive
rant.
rant. The
Yeah.
point is, I think I'm kind of growing up and maybe just like getting a little bit more responsible about spending. I was probably super happy to hear that, but
Yeah. Working on
you
it.
should just, I challenge everyone to just look at their groceries. Like, I don't look at them closely. I just like, I add it up until it gets to $400 and then I press checkout.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm like, oh, now we're here. But like, I don't really look at the prices. I'm like,
true.
kind of,
Because you kind of think of it as like a necessity. So you're like,
It is.
yeah. But if you actually break it down,
yeah, like maybe it's crazy.
maybe you don't need the $27.
I don't know. Maybe I have to become an extreme couponer. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't even think you have to, but it does take effort. Like I definitely am price conscious with groceries, so I buy from Spud and Save On, and like Spud is significantly cheaper on certain things than Save On, and I know those things now, so I have like my 2 standard orders of what I order from both places.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of effort.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of effort.
Like, but I'm just buying groceries for 2 people. So
she says to me,
that's
she
very
goes,
different.
well, this is organic. Would you like to go get the non-organic? And I was like, absolutely not. I'll get nothing.
Right.
I'll
Yeah.
get nothing right now.
Yeah.
No.
Give me glossettes.
That's great. Ashley, what are you working on improving?
Well, I started going to this like Chinese medicine practitioner who is doing acupuncture, but his whole thing is like he wants to heal holistically, and I've been definitely like not taking care of myself or my body, and I struggle with chronic illness, and so anyway, I started going to Dr. Kim like 3 weeks ago, and it's so weird because he's like those people you meet and they see into your soul, like they like literally peer through your eyeballs and
Like
they see your soul.
He saw all your vulnerabilities.
Yes, all of them. And like he was a bit psychic. Like he was a bit like, I never told him this. And he was like, what, how old were you when your parents divorced? I was like, what the fuck? Now, granted, most people have divorced parents now. So like maybe that was a fair assumption on his part. However, if he had gotten that wrong, he would have really gotten that wrong, you know? But anyway, his thing is like, you need more self-love because it's true. Think about it. If you really do love your body and give it all the love and care, then you're going to eat better. You're going to sleep better. You're going to make decisions to care for yourself more. You're going to exercise more, all of these things. So his thing is I'm supposed to every day, like tap my body and be like, good job, Mom. You did that really well.
When she showed me this, she kind of gave herself like a mini hug
Yeah.
and just like tapped her arms.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm like, you don't actually have to explain this to me because I feel like I've already bought in.
Right. Okay, good.
I
I
should
agree.
just
As soon as you started showing us and doing that, I kind of got like chills. I was like, how profound to tell yourself that and like actually like physically touch yourself.
Yeah.
When you're like, good job, like patting yourself on the shoulder, like that's profound actually.
I listened to one of Oprah's podcasts and it was a relationship podcast, but it talked about how your soul needs different than what like maybe your like mind and body needs. So your soul can kind of see through bullshit. It needs to hear something that like soothes the soul. And so you're basically doing that for your soul. You're like acknowledging, and if it hears it enough, it just undoes all the negativity that you've already like given to it. Because like every time I put like shorts on and I'm like, oh, I hate my legs.
Yeah,
or I hate
so
this.
true.
Like your cells, your soul hears that. And then it's just like tears it apart.
Like, how cool would it be if you're like putting on your lotion on your legs or your self tanner, as I've been doing, and you were like, man, I love these legs. These are the best legs. Like, I'm so lucky that I can walk. I'm so grateful for them. Like, that would be a way different mental experience than if you're just like putting lotion on, like, oh, I hate my legs.
You need to look into Google. There's a study on water molecules, and I can't remember what the scientist's name was, but he studies the effect of language on how a water molecule freezes. So if you said the word
I've
love
seen
or
this.
angel or I love you or what versus how the molecule looks when you say war. I hate you. You're ugly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Satan. And there was
Doesn't
like all
it
these
make
words.
it really beautiful and flowery when you're positive?
It will give
Something
you
like that.
chills if you
Yeah.
look at the evidence of whatever that word has on that molecule.
Wow.
The angel looks like a freaking angel. Like
Yeah,
it's
like it's
angelic. It looks like a
beautiful.
halo. The word there were all these beautiful images with all the kind words, and the negative words were chaotic. It was like clearly like dysfunction
Really?
in the whole process. And I was like, oh my God, our whole body is made up of these cells. Imagine what a negative thought or a negative word is doing to our body.
It's so true.
And I think the spoken word
profound.
is more, so I like have these two house plants. One's doing very well, one's not. And I always joke that the negative one is sitting beside Ev. I'm like, you're obviously not giving it enough love over there.
No, plants are the same. There's studies
They're
on plants.
cells.
Yeah.
They're living things.
Yeah.
So I think we just don't understand, and it's worth a try for like
well, it's
what
worth,
it is.
and it's practice. Like you can't just, it's no different than meditation or yoga or any of that stuff. It's about being conscious about what you're doing and being deliberate, and intentional about
I thought
your
about touching all
self-love.
my wrinkles and being like, I love my wrinkles. You look so young. Like you have such flawless, dewy skin.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe it'll work.
Maybe it will. Kate, what's one thing you're working on improving?
Mine goes off of Donnie's because I am budgeting. Because I need to save money for my future, I've decided.
I'm so proud
And
of you.
I've
This
been-
makes me so happy.
Yeah, I know Leah
You spent a
loves
lot of
it.
time with me this week. Have I scared you a little bit?
No, I buy groceries only for myself, and I still live at home. So if my mom's going to the grocery store, I'm able to be like, "Can you just get this for me?" And I'll pay you back. But I don't. But I try
And
to
then I
measure,
don't.
and then I don't, and she never asks me. But I try to measure everything, and I was like, "How many hours do I have to work if I want to buy this?" And then it like stops me from.
Yes.
You should
that
overly
is such a
spendy.
good one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
do that
this
with
is a day
calories
and a half of
sometimes.
work.
Yeah.
You
Like
should-
if I eat this chocolate bar, I have to do like 20 minutes of running.
Yeah,
Fuck
exactly.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
not worth eating that chocolate bar.
glass of wine, I will. Yes.
Oh,
I
that
will.
is worth it.
But then you choose your vices, and that's
Yes.
why I can be spendy on one thing, but it doesn't mean I have to be super spendy on everything.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Anyways, something to think about.
Mine is really simple. I'm just working on improving. I've gotten up to 2 large cups of coffee a day, and I need to cut that back down to 1.
You're usually pretty good about it.
I've been so good. It's just been the past couple weeks. I actually really enjoy coffee.
Yeah.
And for like a week, so I went to JJ Bean, and anyone from Vancouver knows JJ Bean. Anyone not from Vancouver, you need to fly to Vancouver now and get a JJ Bean. It's like the greatest coffee. I can't sell it up enough.
I don't know. Kate introduced me to Islands Coffee, and I'm
Islands
like
is
pretty
the
much.
best. The Hawaiian coffee.
I was out of beans for a week though because they gave me the wrong beans when I went there, and it's like a 30-minute drive from my house, and I didn't have time to go back in the week. So the next week when I got my beans back, I was just like drinking all the coffee because I was like, I love it.
You've been very wired in the mornings.
So
I love being wired though, right? Like
No,
it's the
I'm so-
best.
but I'm
into
also a
it.
morning
My drug of
person.
choice.
Yes.
You know, I don't do drugs.
I want to feel
do
buzzed.
coffee.
Me
yeah.
too. Me too.
I'm a morning person too, though, so you just
Yeah.
have to know, like, I'm gonna be on in the morning.
Can I highlight one concern though?
Yeah.
It's the weather, and it's bright out till like 10 p.m. Like the iced coffee
Yeah.
at 3 o'clock just looks really good. So I'm just like adding that cup for sure.
I could do decaf then, though.
I've been doing like an iced coffee at like 5 lately because it's like I'm on my way to sports.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to have alcohol. I'll have like an iced coffee. It's just like, it feels good. You're outside. You're doing things. It's just like, I don't know. It's
You could do
habitual.
decaf, though.
No, I would never.
just
I
stay
know
up
you
late and
wouldn't.
watch
That is
I
Chernobyl.
would.
That is the
I
most
would.
ridiculous thing I've ever heard
I
you
know.
say.
I know.
Don't stop.
Okay, Ashley, let's talk more about you and Smash and Tess. This is what we're here for. I think a lot of our listeners already know who you are and what you do, but can you just say hello to everybody again and tell us maybe something new that's happening with the company right now?
Sure. So if you don't know, now you know. Smash
Exactly.
and Tess, we do loungewear. we're about that sort of chic transitional vibe. So like stuff you can wear in your house and then throw on a jean jacket. So we call it like sheets to streets kind of vibe. And so yeah, so that's kind of what, and we're just rounding out our company more and more and trying to build it so that we're even more authentically inclusive. Our sizing is inclusive. We want to make sure that, you know, we have a strong community and lifestyle. We're not just about fashion. And so because of that, you know, we're always thinking of fun and creative ways to involve our Smash and Test girls. New stuff? I don't know. I guess we're working on fall right now. It seems like I'm always
I saw the
like-
fall line sheet.
Ooh.
I love the colors.
Yeah.
Can we talk about them and give people a sneak peek or not yet?
Yeah, I mean, I think our big focus has been, because what we realized too with PJs and stuff like that is sometimes it's tough because, you know, you don't necessarily want to buy PJs that you can't wear out. Some people do, and they love that, and they indulge, and that's fantastic. So we have that stuff too. But a lot of our stuff for fall is focused on more of that transitional wear. So a lot of cozy. We have like a cute skirt, maybe.
Yes.
We've got cute loungewear like pants and matching, a lot of coppers, and we've
I'm
got some fun
obsessed with the
prints.
copper. The
Yeah,
copper is like what
copper's
I want.
cute.
Oh,
Yeah, and
love
we're
it.
really working on fun prints because I think people love that. Our leopard sold out in like less than a day. It was
The leopard was
insanity.
really cute.
It was
I actually
crazy
don't
cute.
have the. I feel like I want the shorty leopard.
I want that
I
one
know, I'm
too. We
obsessed
didn't
with
ever
that.
I
get
was
them.
sold out
Totally-
of that for like since the day it launched. But
Yeah,
we
we
have
didn't
some
get
fun
any.
stuff coming for holiday.
I want
Okay.
I want a short romper though. I haven't had one of those.
Oh, you
and I
need a
feel like-
shorty.
Yeah.
Yeah, super cute.
No, you're.
The
I feel
yellow
like
shorty's beautiful.
I feel like when
Yeah.
you say it's loud, it definitely like is in that category, but it's so like I think where it's boomed your brand has been like people wear that shit out all the time.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like when have you really seen that style of a romper with like people literally they're wearing it. It's we have more of an athleisure theme in fashion right now for sure.
and that's
but
definitely the vibe. Yeah, that's what we're, because that's at the end of the day, we're about that effortless chic
love
aesthetic. You can throw it on, pick up your kids, like throw it on, go to the coffee shop. Like
it's just
that's
like
the
my
idea.
morning uniform. Like make lunches, take the kids to school, and then you end up doing a Monday meeting. Like for me, like that rolls into other tasks where I am social and I'm around people. And yes, my hair's in like a bun, but it's like it's socially acceptable. You don't have to go home and be
Yeah,
ready necessarily.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to make life easy for our Smash and Test girls.
Yeah,
I
and
love it.
It's so good. So something we really wanted to talk about today, because you and Donni really relate both very strongly on being having really high expectations for yourselves as business people, like even in your role in your business, and you have big goals for your businesses. How does that affect your leadership and your expectations on your team? Like, how do you lead from that place where you're not adding so much pressure to your team, but you still want to motivate and drive, but
wanna add
managing that in
something
you? Yeah.
Because that is such a good question. And before, like, I want to remind you. So we were together in Calgary, and I was telling you. First of all, I look at you, and I'm like, you're doing so many things. You're so active in the community. You're doing speaking arrangements all the time. You're constantly marketing yourself, marketing the brand. And I look up to you, and I'm like, wow, she's doing such a great job. And then I kind of told you something like behind the scenes that we were working on. It was a bit of a project, and you looked at me, you're like, oh, that makes me feel like I should be doing more. I should be this. And I was like, okay, like we have to, like, we can't be like thrown off, but we can't do everything.
No.
But
Yeah.
I realized how strong-willed you were and how hard on yourself.
Yes, very
you
hard
are.
on myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why Dr. Kim is making me fondle myself. And
Yes.
I mean, yeah, I think here's the thing. Like when I talk to a lot of young female entrepreneurs wanting to get into business, and I do that a lot because I was a teacher for 10 years and my graduate degree is in education. And I believe so much in coaching and mentoring and all of that stuff because I've had great coaches and mentors and all of that. So I always say, like, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, I think what sets people aside is you've got to have drive and discipline. And I think or you better have a right-hand man that is that person. Because I think like so many people want to do it on their own and go it on their own. And so you have to be able to put one foot in front of the other and get shit done. And so for me, I think I've taken that to almost like obviously the extreme. I am extremely type A, anyone who knows me, but I'm also a creative. I just released a kid's book. I love to design clothes. I'm like hugely into like crafting and art and like shit like that. But I also have very strong regiments and high expectations of myself. And my big thing is like, if I say I'm going to do something, like I do that thing, and it's usually that day, or the next, like.
You're so good at that.
I'm just really, you know what it is? I just feel uncomfortable if I'm not doing it. Like, it's not even a matter. I used to hand my essays in like 3 weeks early. You know what I'm saying?
I'm a very good procrastinator, and that is
I'm
the difference
horrible.
between us.
Yeah.
I get so stressed out, and all it is it's just self-care for me. If I let myself procrastinate, like I did this huge presentation recently in front of 1,200 people in Toronto, and I procrastinated. Like, I was a disaster. I was so on edge. I was cranky. I was miserable. And the whole time I'm like, why did I do this to myself? I left to the day before, and it was a terrible idea. It was so it's honestly, it's just self-preservation. Like for me, like it's not a way that I tell people to be, because everyone's got to do their own thing. It's just that's how I operate.
Yeah.
It's also, it reflects in how high functioning you are. So I think that your success is attributed to that behavior.
For sure.
I think I have to be productive. If I don't like tick something off my list in that day, it bugs me. You know what I mean? Like I have to produce all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that that sometimes, like my husband is like this, like he loves to get things perfect, and so he doesn't pull the trigger. You know what I mean? Like he's just waiting and waiting and waiting. I just pull the trigger, constantly like pulling the trigger, and like I figure it out as I go, and I'm very intuitive in business.
So you don't necessarily wait until you have all the bits and pieces. You just like jump.
Yeah, I think that like it's that feeling of feeling out when you're ready to jump. I don't think you should go into anything with your eyes closed, being like feeling your way through. I don't. I do think if you're starting a business or whatever, you should have a business plan. I do think you should have a clear marketing plan, a branding profile, all of that stuff. But you can't get stuck up in it either. Like you have to just keep moving, keep going and making decisions. So you do need to be ready to a degree. So you have to figure out for yourself, like, you know, what that balance is. So you're not getting stuck.
Yeah. Because it can be 90%. You know what I mean? Like it's the perfectionism that we need to get rid of a little bit. You can still get that done without maybe, we met somebody yesterday who we podcasted with, and she had 5 podcast episodes recorded, but like hadn't taken the leap to put them out there and announce that she was doing a podcast. And I said, just do it. Just put it out there, right?
Yeah.
But in her mind, there's probably imperfections and things that she'd improve. And if you went back and listened to our first 5 episodes, there's probably 98% could have been improved. Like, please do not go back and listen to those episodes. I highly
I'm doing it on
recommend
my
you
way
do
home
not
now.
do that.
Our first episode was really like, we've come so far from
so
there,
bad.
but that's the thing
That's
with
where we've come
with
from.
Yeah, that's where you came from, and no one should be embarrassed putting out their first version.
Yeah.
Because the first version is more like market testing.
Totally.
Get your market response and then move forward with the market feedback. Like, don't wait till you think it's perfect, because then the market might hate it anyways.
Yeah,
and then
you don't
you've
even know. You
perfected
never
something.
do know. No,
Yeah.
you don't know how it's
And
going
a
to be.
business plan and a brand profile is kind of the same thing. Like it's step 1. Well, you're going to grow, and that's really just like your trampoline. You're going to jump off of that. You're going to
It's
figure
your
out
foundation.
the shift. It's
Yeah.
your foundation.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. And like, that's the thing. Like we all have those moments, those pivot moments where you're like, you try something. Like I always say, so there's 2 challenges. 1, go back and listen to these podcasts, the first 5 of them. B, scroll back into Smash and Tess's Instagram, like scroll way back, because what you'll see is florals and frilly and vintage inspired. And within 6 months, we dropped our first romper, and oh my God, people loved the romper, and we pivoted so fast it would make your head spin. It was like, this is what people want. So let's give the people what they want. And I think people make that mistake.
Give the people what they want.
Yes.
They want a Sunday romper.
Like, give it to them. Like,
So
and that's
true.
right. And like, instead of being like, oh, but this isn't what I thought I was going to do. This isn't what it evolves, and that's okay.
does.
It
I
should.
agree.
Yeah.
And how do you work in your business, in your day-to-day, coming from the perspective, like we talking about chronic illnesses and functioning within your role as a leader in your company and the creative director, and how do you work with that? Do you want to speak more
Yeah,
into that?
I mean, I think that if you don't know, I have Crohn's disease. They call that the invisible disease because I think people, first of all, Canada has one of the highest, percentages of people with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis in the world. But we don't talk about it because it's not a pretty disease. It's not sexy at all.
No, it's not.
And so people are embarrassed about it and they don't want to talk about it. But the reality is it can be debilitating. And it's forever, you have it forever. So I definitely think I struggled through, I was diagnosed in 2011 and but I had it my whole life. It's a relatively new disease. So they didn't, I had incidents growing up and they just didn't know what it was. But acutely hit me in 2011. And so since then, I worked as a teacher for about 4 or 5 years. And that was really tough. Going into, a work environment, the symptoms of Crohn's disease, like super embarrassing. You're working with teenagers. It was really challenging. So I think like running your own business, it has its own challenges now where, the good news is that I work from home a lot. My team is very lucky that I do so because I am so controlling.
Yeah.
I've never heard a boss say it like that. Like you guys are so lucky not to have me
around. But like at the same time, I love that I get to come in. We have big meetings. We talk about strategy. We talk about, we get all pumped and jazzed and excited. But, and then I come back and then I get to really put my head down and work on, our growth plan and things like that. I travel a lot. So that's a challenge with Crohn's disease. I mean, I travel all the time. I'm speaking all over the place. We're doing different events. And so I find that really challenging, but more so I'm just really, really tired. But here's the thing I find with people that are like newly diagnosed with chronic illness and people are like, how do you do it? Like, how do you run a business and all of this stuff? And I'm like, it's really state of mind. I've probably been the most sick of my whole life this last year. It's been horrendous. But I've also found the most success business-wise and even personally, like just in life in general in the last year. And I think it's because, I use my disease to sort of drive me and push me. And if I feel like if I had let myself get into this negative headspace of being sick, I think that it would make me more sick. Mm-hmm. I think
absolutely.
Like I wake up, like you can ask my husband the other day, I was like, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to lay in bed and watch Chernobyl. And he was like, you can do that. I'm like, I can. Did I? Fuck no. I never do that ever. I never do it because if I do, I get into this weird dark space where
you got to fight.
I've got to fight it. And I do. And you know what? It becomes almost like an irritant versus like who I am. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like I do things, and I've had really good friends of mine recently diagnosed with terrible disease. And I always say to them, just get up, do what you need to do your work, and it'll be there and you're going to struggle through it. But at the end of the day, like you'll be okay. And in fact, you'll be even better because you won't be sitting in that really negative space of being sick in that label.
And I see two things about that. One is like, work while you can. Yeah. And then when you can't, you have to respect your body. Mm-hmm. And I get that. I have scoliosis. So there's days, and I was really honest with Donni in the beginning, like there's days when I can't stand up. I physically am not capable.
Yeah.
So I was honest with her.
You have to rest at that point. You really do. Like your body needs rest.
Yeah.
So I was honest in the beginning, and sometimes that's a hard conversation because you don't want to be perceived as weak. Like I'm coming into a role where I'm like, I would love to run your company as operations manager, but sometimes I can't get out of bed. Yeah. Like it could be perceived as a weakness, but you do have to be honest about it. And then Donni was like, okay, we'll give you the space to do that. And if you want to work from home that day, if you can, then do that. Like,
but you've earned that, right? Like that's the thing too, is like, I think because you have that work ethic, you when you say to Donni, I'm not feeling well, like,
she trusts that I'm not just like bullshitting
exactly. And that's because you don't live in that space. Totally. If you lived in that sort of sick space where you're every day like, oh, I don't feel, I really think it's state of mind.
Totally.
But you're right. You've got to listen. Yeah. So.
And then the second part of my point is that working with your team.
Yeah.
Like if you, and I think you have done this, empowered your team. Like, look, I'm not there today. You guys know what to do. You're not they're not depending on you as a crutch to like be present every second of every day. You've empowered them to run things so that if you need a minute, it's going to keep moving.
Totally. And that's about
the
letting
wheels
go a
keep
bit.
turning.
You gotta let go.
Which is
Yeah.
hard for you, I'm
Yeah.
sure. But I think I think those are two key things I pulled out of what you're saying.
I think everybody can relate to this on some level, whether it's physical or mental, or spiritual, like unease. But realistically, like you've never been a victim to your illness.
Exactly.
And I think
Thank you. That's what I was trying to say.
How you went
Yeah.
about it with me that made it always like so respectable because it's how you approach the topic.
Yeah,
totally.
And there's such a fine line. I like what you said about showing weakness and being honest and authentic, because people do, like in the workplace, people want a real connection. People want an authentic, and people want to relate. Like those emotional needs are so important. But also putting your weak foot forward is not how you want to approach it either. Like I get that you want to show like you have your shit together. And you're sound
I've
on
got
your
it
own
together.
2
I
feet.
can step in and run this for you, but I'm also weak and human and might need, this is what I might need health wise.
I think we're being dishonest with ourselves though if we don't all say that none of us actually know exactly what we're doing.
No, but also, can you imagine, like, I don't think that this is the case for many people in the workplace. Like, I don't think I could have gone into many employers and had that conversation. And
No.
I don't know where that comes from on Donnie's end. I'm pointing at you, but no one on the podcast can see that. But I don't know where that comes from on your end, but you had so much grace in that situation. Like, I think that some employers might have been like, oh, that's not something we can work with.
We
Like,
had
it goes both ways.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, and you know what, for me, that's quality of life. Like for me, I want my workplace to be a sanctuary. I want it to be a very positive, happy place for me to be, because if I'm going to choose to be away from my kids, to sacrifice those opportunities, and if I want to get, accomplish my dreams, it has to be a positive environment. It can't be dark. It can't be negative. And I acknowledge, for me, that means a family balance, a healthy balance with like my mind and my health. And I've had my own struggles in those areas, and good relationships with you guys. That means something to me.
Yeah.
So that maybe those are my love languages. And so those aren't every employer's needs as well. But I think I hire like-minded people.
Totally.
And so I just think that those are our core values.
Yeah.
It's about hiring. Absolutely. Like it's about the culture you establish and then who is a part of that team, because you have to trust your team. If you don't trust your team to go home at 2:00 in the afternoon and go work from home, there's something wrong. There's something bigger wrong.
It's
right?
highlighting a bigger issue.
Yeah.
Kate and I had a really good conversation about this last week. We don't have to name names, but somebody that she knows had asked for time off to go to like a graduation ceremony.
Yeah.
And the boss said, well, and it was 5 days before the event. So it's like not ideal, right? But the work schedule is only generally decided like 24 hours before.
Yeah, he
so
gets his work schedule, like he'll start work at 7 and he gets it at 10 p.m. the night before, of like what time and where he's starting.
And this is a male dominated business. Okay. So put yourself there. But he had asked for this time off on the Thursday to like go to a graduation ceremony. And the employer said, well, no, this is 5 days in advance. Like that's not possible. And he goes, but it's really important to me. And he goes, well, if it was that important to you, you would have asked for the time off. Well, true, yes. But if I'm ever in a situation where that isn't a priority, something personal like that, well, there's something wrong with my corporate culture. And I don't know if that's the difference between a female-run business and a male-run business.
But you know what it is? I think the problem is people. This is people. People will take advantage of things like that. So you have to be so careful of who you let into your circle, and then there has to be respect, right? You have to. I've had this too, where it swings the other way, right? And there's a lack of respect, and then it gets taken for granted, and then you get walked on, and then you're like, shit. Like,
but in that situation too, because I know what situation you're talking about. Yeah. It was highlighting a bigger issue that was already there.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, if I'm feeling like slanted to not allowing that, it's probably because of something else.
Yeah.
Or
it's a big, there's more than just the one thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But I think it's just like common understanding.
Yeah. And I think that, I think it probably changes the way you run your company too. I mean, Donni, I know you don't specifically have chronic illness, but how do you feel like that changes, Ashley, how you run your business?
I mean, in some ways it makes me empathetic. In other ways it makes me a bit of a hard ass because I do struggle with a lot and I do just keep going.
Which is warranted. And that's okay to be like that because you're a fighter. So it's like, well, if I can do it, what's your excuse?
Exactly. Like I have my period. It's like, well,
Suck
toughen up and like get in there. Then I carried a baby and pushed that thing out.
Yeah.
Like I think you can be okay with your period, right? Like unless you have endometriosis or there's something bigger going on, like of course. But I think in ways it does make you a little less empathetic. And then in some ways, I think I can relate to my team even in more ways. So it just depends on the relationship that's established. It depends on, how long, if they've really shown that they care about Smash and Tess and then I'm all in, whatever you need, like I'm here. And let's communicate and let's talk and let's make sure things aren't just popping up. And I know Donni, you're the same that way. It's like,
I actually totally relate to that. And that's kind of contradicting what I just said, but I think it's just situations are different. But
totally.
Yeah, when you fought through hard things, there's kind of an understanding. It's like, well, I had an argument with somebody yesterday and she brought in the middle of the I don't like arguing with people,
right.
But it got to the point where it was actually a very disrespectful conversation.
Right.
And she says to me, I've got things to do here. I've got 3 kids. I don't have time for this. And I was like, I've got 3 kids.
Right.
Like, don't throw that as an excuse.
Yeah.
Like, we're all on the same playing field here. We all have struggles. We all have things to do.
Yeah.
There's no excuse for disrespect.
No.
Or it's being used as an excuse at that point in time.
Exactly. And no one's busy is busier than another person's busy. Like, that's the other thing.
Yeah,
when
busy
someone's
is-
like, I'm so busy. It's like, yeah, well, welcome to the club, right? Doesn't matter.
Busy is a choice.
It's
like,
exactly.
get your schedule together.
Yeah.
I always say, just take that word busy, replace it with lazy in your mind, and will you still say it?
Oh, I like it.
Because if you're like, I'm just so lazy right now.
Yeah. It's about juggling your different responsibilities,
It's
right?
about time management.
It's time management. It's your team. It's all of those things and prioritizing and making it all work.
And busy does exist.
Of course.
But schedule it. I mean, within our team, I think the theme is we're always like, the answer should always be yes. When? Yes, when?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Can you create this graphic? Yes, I can. I can
Yeah.
do it next Thursday.
Yes. Yeah.
When? Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be this second.
No.
I'm too busy. Well, of course you're busy. You're doing things. You have a job. You're doing your job.
Right.
But when can you squeeze that in and how can you manage
But
this
isn't
right
it
now?
funny? Because we talk about this whole thing of like, don't be afraid to say no, like say no when you
don't
know.
say no
but
to your boss.
I hate no. I
You can't
hate
really
no.
say no to your boss.
You know what? I don't like no at all.
I don't
I
like no
prefer
either.
yes when, because, and that's a really good point, because a no is like, I hate that can't do attitude. Like what sets you apart is like, if you, yes, I can do that. This is how I can do it. It might not be, how you like in this time frame, or I can do that. Do you want me to put these other things to the side?
That's right.
And I can do this right now. Yes. Thank you.
Those are my favorite conversations. Like,
Yeah.
I can totally do that.
Yeah.
Where is it on the priority list?
Yeah.
Paint done for me. Like, we talk a
Right.
lot about painting done. Like, what exactly does done look like? Then you know when you can do it.
Totally.
And then you can talk through the priorities. Like, is this more important than these other projects I'm working
And
on?
Right.
sometimes it is, right? But like the conversation just has to be there.
Yeah. I love those conversations.
I know, and I feel like it's just switching the language.
Yeah.
I really don't like the word busy. We talk about that a lot on the
Me
podcast.
neither.
Yeah, we do.
But for me, mentally, because I'm a victim to using busy, I have used it a lot in my life. My life
You have
is
to retrain
truly
yourself.
busy,
You
but it's
have
like
to-
training myself.
yes.
So mentally, I think of the word lazy. I stop using that word.
It's a
Don't
really
use it.
good point. I think naturally we're all like, oh, how are you? Oh, I'm so busy. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll be like, I'm busy. It comes out, and then I'll be like, but so are you. We're all busy, I guess, right? Like, because I have to make we're so trained to be like busy, 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 because we heard this all the time.
It would be
That's
like
a good catch.
It's like me
Yeah.
complaining. You choose you're busy.
Right.
So it's like me complaining, oh, I have 3 kids. They have 3 kids. I chose to have 3 kids. So why am I using that as an excuse right now? Like, I chose that. So how is that going to affect my conversation right now?
Yeah.
Like no, we all just choose different things. And so if you're choosing busy all the time, well, like, maybe you're making poor choices.
and also, don't you feel like saying I'm so busy makes you sound like a victim?
Yes.
Totally.
Whereas
like it's
you're-
happening to you.
Yeah, like, I'm so busy. I have no control over this. Like,
I know.
that it kind of slips you into that slippery slope of victimhood and
Yeah.
that victim mentality. Like, if you take control of it again and say, like, my schedule's really full, that's power back in your hands where you're saying, I've put these things on my schedule.
Right.
So it's really full because I've allowed them to be added.
Yeah. And it's leading with humility and leading with versus like, I can't help but say, but you know, we all work with some people that are like, I can't, I'm just so busy. It's like, yeah, but so why is your busy more important than mine? I'm also busy. I'm running a business. I'm parenting. I'm doing all these, but I'm not listing it out for you, right? No. Because we're all busy. And so your busy is not more important than my busy. So at the end of the day, it's like, you all know the great people you work with, right? Because they're down to earth. They're humble. They don't think that they're more important than anything or anyone, right? And that's what I want to do. I want to lead with that instead of like,
okay, I want to highlight something I struggle with. It's not really a struggle, but it's kind of my management approach. Like I feel like my job is to maximize productivity. So for example, if we create a job description, I would say, bring me your job description. My job would be to like add more to that. Make sure, right? Like realistically, it's like, what are you doing? Okay, I'm going to try to add 20% onto that, like maximize productivity. So sometimes if things also don't look busy, I have this feeling of under productivity. So it's something I struggle with, of like a proper workplace and feeling like I'm doing my job and that things are really ticking along as quickly or as properly as they should be.
Right.
Like, do you struggle with that with your personality a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, I want people to be basically running at all times.
That's like me. I'm like,
because that's how I am, but I
okay.
like that, right? Like I'm comfortable in that.
I'm like, that's great. Can we do double?
Yeah, totally. I'm like, good job. Now, can you give me extra? But you're right. And I think I have to often tone that down a bit because not everyone is comfortable running at the pace that I run, right? And I think that, but at the same time, I do tend to surround myself with people that are similar because then it's just easier to kind of have those because they want to do their best and they want to give extra and because that's how they are too. So, but yes.
And for us, a conversation we had a couple weeks ago, Donni, or last week, I believe, I don't know days anymore, was about putting systems in place to support that.
Yeah.
Like, figure out what you need to do to be really effective and have things running smoothly, then put a system in place to support that so that you can maximize your efficiency through having a proper system.
Well, and that's where I actually find not being in the workplace on every day is probably helpful to my team.
Yeah.
To give them
Same.
space
That's what I was saying.
To do our job.
And I can just go be neurotic
all by myself. I can control everything in my little bubble all alone. But yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, it is really about, you're talking about leadership skills, right? You're talking about, and at the end of the day, people, my team at Smash and Tess, they are highly functioning, uber creative, really just talented people. And I think at the end of the day, my job is to encourage that, to celebrate that, motivate that, and give them the space in the room to grow. And I think it's so important as leaders, and that could be anyone in your organization can be a leader, right? It's not just, I'm not talking about myself, but is to celebrate each other and make sure that we're taking that time to be like, that was awesome. Great job. Like just that little bit, it goes so far. Yeah.
I totally agree.
Leah had to have this talk with me the other day, actually. I'll let you go with this because I know what you're going to say.
No, I was actually going to say we got to wrap up. Oh. So you go.
Okay. I'll talk. So I'll make this quick.
No, it's okay.
Basically, she, in like a roundabout way, she told me, she's like, you got to celebrate more wins with us. Like, we need, like, because people really want, like, my team, they really want to do well.
Yeah, of course.
And so if we're just too sales focused or too this, like, we're not really, like, giving each other a pat on the back or celebrating wins.
Because some kind of can start feeling defeating when you're in a place where you're addressing the company's inefficiencies or issues or trying to straighten out problems and really get to the next level. If you're not turning and focusing on the positive, it can feel like you haven't done anything good.
Yes.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's discouraging.
And that's something I'm working on too. Just the plight of business owners. I mean, you're always like, I want to do better. I want to do better. We've talked about this before. You're never celebrating the moments. You have to stop and be like, this was good.
Yeah.
Right. And make sure everyone knows that.
So we talked about at our Monday morning, the first thing we're going to do is celebrate 3 team wins from the previous week.
Oh, good.
Like, what are
Love
3
that.
amazing things that happened last week?
Yeah.
Maybe it's in different departments or whatever. Every week will be a different focus. But we were like, what if we just started it off with 3 really great wins that we saw?
I love that.
Then it's every week, you know, you're getting a little bit of that. Okay, we did have wins.
So that
We
goes
can be
back to
motivated.
teaching. So I have a
yeah.
graduate degree in that, and that was like my big thing. You know, my whole career was like teaching. And how do you motivate kids? And so that kind of reminded me of like that cute thing we used to do where we would say 3 stars and 1 wish. So it would be like, and that's what you would always say, like in the classroom, you'd be like, okay, so this you did well, this grammar's great, you did that, but here's something I wish you would have done.
That's so cute.
I know, but it
love
applies
that.
to life, right? I'm running business. It's so true. It's exactly
and
what you're talking
coming
about.
back to encouraging yourself.
Yeah.
We've talked about this so many times, the power of the mind. If we're celebrating 3 wins and 1 area for improvement, that barely balances the scales
Right.
of 3 to 1.
It's so true.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the negative you're
It should
going to
be
sit
10 to
in.
1.
You're
It
going to
should be-
sit
Yeah,
in the
you're gonna
negative.
sit in that negative.
So
and-
maybe we can flip that and make it 3 to 1, and at least then we have 3 great things to celebrate and something we know we need
I
to
think
address.
there is
Yeah.
like statistics on, like I think it's literally like you need to hear 10 positive things to undo the
Yeah.
1
Yes.
negative.
Yeah.
But you can air the negative in a positive way.
Well, yeah, and it doesn't have to be a negative. It can be like, where did our systems fail in this, or
Right.
where
Exactly.
where did our systems not support us? Maybe fail is a poor
Yeah,
word,
or like,
but
what
where,
do you need help with
Yeah.
to do this?
where do you need help, or where would you have needed help to actually have gotten that to the next
Exactly.
level?
How
And
could
that's
we
where
have
the wish-
supported
How
you
can
in a
we
way
have-
that would have
Yeah.
had a different
Yes,
result.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yep.
This is a good conversation. We should wrap up though, because hopefully everyone has stuck with us through all this goodness, and you've shared.
Of course they did.
I think they did. Ashley, you've shared so many amazing tips with us so far, but we love to ask all of our guests for maybe a piece of advice to leave our listeners with, or a mantra that you're living your life by.
Yeah, I said it earlier, and I think really it's just about putting one foot in front of the other. And I think, you know, to make sure that you're okay out of your comfort zone, you know, and just you're never going to accomplish that dream or live that life that you want unless you just start putting one foot in front of the other.
So good and so simple and clear.
You are
I like that.
such a great speaker.
You
Like
are.
you really
You are.
articulate yourself so well, and it's just like very intentional. I like the way you talk. Thank you so much.
Me
I
too.
like you guys
Thank you
a
for
lot,
being
too.
here. Remind our listeners where they can find you online.
Yeah, so our handle is at Smash Tess, not Smash Tees. Gosh, we get confused
How
with
many
that all the
people do
time.
that?
This happens to me. Damsel in Dior tag, just great post and put Smash Tees, and I wanted to die.
Oh.
Yes.
Did she change it?
Yeah, but by then everyone had seen it. It was like 2 weeks later. It was such a bummer.
Oh, that is such a piss off.
Thanks. You're welcome, Smash Tees. You're welcome. But Smash Tess at Smash Tess and smashtess.com, smashtess.ca. But
And if
.com
you
will-
guys don't have one, you do need one. I think we've
Oh, yeah.
highlighted this as our
Yeah.
current obsession so many times. We all live in them.
that's so
and we
amazing.
carry them so you can find them where we sell,
Yeah.
where you find us at
Yeah.
our stores or online.
Yeah.
So
Thanks for having
Thank
me,
you for
guys.
coming.
Thank you,
It was
Ashley.
fun.
Okay.
Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you love PRIV Talks podcast, please rate and review. Then DM us a screenshot of your review with your address to @PRIV Talks podcast so we can send you a free gift. Also, we want to keep the conversation going, so please join us on Instagram and get into our private Facebook group where we can chat and stay connected. Thank you so much. See you next time.